By the time I got home, my heart had calmed down a bit. I had had a tense evening, an evening full of tension and anxiety that I would rather not experience too often. That night was a shock to me, something I simply couldn't have expected. But then again, I suppose there are fools like me everywhere, but as a working cop, I was more prepared for it than most men. I grabbed a beer, a speckled hen, sat down in my favorite chair, and waited for my sweet, loving wife to come home after an evening out with her friends. How could I? 10 minutes passed, then 20. Just as I was beginning to wonder if their evening was over, I heard a key in the door. This was it. Things could have gone any way. By tomorrow, our marriage could be over. But now, it was all up to her. "Oh, Jerry," Jenny said in surprise as she entered the room. "Why aren't you asleep yet?" It was already 2 in the morning, so the question was quite appropriate. For the past few months, I had fallen asleep long before she returned from her weekly parties, so the question didn't surprise me. I looked at her, at how beautiful she still was. She was almost 32, 3 years younger than me, slim, with long legs, full breasts, and such a sweet, pretty face. No wonder the guys at that damn club lined up to hug her on the dance floor. No wonder they wanted their hands exploring her supple body and everything they could reach. "Did you have a good night, honey?" I asked calmly. "Yeah, not bad, Jerry," she replied casually. "Nothing special, you know. Fun, but nothing out of the ordinary." So what I had seen earlier was completely normal, right? Was this how she behaved every Wednesday when she went out with her friends Sue and Jude? Jenny went to take off her jacket, but then changed her mind. Any other time, I wouldn't have noticed. But since I knew how revealing her top was when she took off her bra, I could understand why Jenny hesitated. I wondered how many times she had come home like that while I was asleep and unaware. "Ready for bed, honey?" she asked with a smile. "At least tonight I won't have to wake you up to get what I need." Well, at least that was true. I couldn't complain about what I got when she came home from her nighttime adventures. If I wasn't sleeping too soundly, she would wake me up, and if I was, we would make up for lost time in the morning. "Wait, Jenny," I stopped her. "Before you go to bed, I want to tell you a story." "Can we leave it until morning, dear?" Jenny pleaded. "I'm very tired and want to take a shower before bed." "No, Jenny," I said firmly, and for the first time she looked at me intently, and the smile on her face disappeared. "Take off your coat and sit down, Jenny." "It's okay," she replied, sitting down. "Take off your coat, Jenny." "It's okay, Jerry. I'm comfortable like this." "Take off your damn coat when I tell you to," I shouted at her. My wife flinched in shock, hesitated, then carefully took off her coat, trying to cross her arms over her chest. I knew she had lost her bra during her nighttime walk. I knew how she lost it and where. I even knew where it was now. It was in my jacket pocket, although I wasn't going to tell her that. I told her how my partner Tom and I were on patrol in our car and noticed a vehicle that looked like her Volkswagen Golf parked outside the Blue Gown Club, a well-known, albeit disreputable, nightclub in our seaside town in the south of England. I asked her if it was her car or if I had made a mistake since she had told me she was going out for dinner. What did I know? What did I really know? She had no idea, and I saw her frown. "The Blue Gown Club?" she asked, squinting as if trying to remember where she had heard that name before. "Yes, that's the one, and think before you answer, because our marriage may depend on it." Jenny paled and grabbed the table in front of her, her large breasts swaying freely under her dress, and she forgot that she was trying to hide the fact that she wasn't wearing a bra. Yes, that's right, Jerry," she exhaled. "It's a club, but there's a restaurant there. We used to go there for dinner." "And dancing?" I asked. "Dancing, Jerry? What do you mean?" "There's nothing wrong with dancing, Jenny, is there?" I teased her. "I just asked if you danced." She looked at me silently, trying to figure out how much I knew. In all 9 years of our marriage, I had never heard her lie to my face. She was in a difficult position, and she knew it. "Have you been to the club, Jerry?" Jenny asked me, her voice clearly trembling with emotion. "That's for me to know and for you to guess, my love," I teased her. "So did you dance?" Jenny shrugged, struggling with her conscience. She was desperately trying to figure out how much I knew. "Yes, we danced, Jerry," she finally admitted. "The three of us danced a little." I didn't say anything, just sat there looking at her, staring intently into her eyes. Okay, we danced quite a lot. The three of us danced almost the entire evening. "Who did you dance with, Jenny?" I asked. "Anyone in particular?" "Different guys," Jenny replied. "A lot of guys pay attention to us." It was true, and I had witnessed it. She and her two friends were a stunning trio in their high heels, short dresses, bare legs, flowing hair, dazzling smiles, and low-cut necklines. "Anyone special, Jenny? Did you dance with anyone more than the others?" Jenny's eyes flashed. She sat up, but realizing she was trapped, she slumped back into her chair. "Stop teasing me, you bastard!" my wife exploded. "How long were you there? What did you see?" "Oh, I won't tell you, my love." I gave her time to digest my words before continuing. "Tell me everything you did tonight. Lie to me once and our marriage is over. Tell me the truth, and I might forgive you." The fact that she didn't argue at least proved that she understood the mess she was in. "Please, Jerry, I love you. Believe me, tonight meant nothing. I was just having fun. I flirted a little, but that's all." "Then tell me everything," I insisted, not too harshly, despite the heaviness in my stomach. This time, Jenny swallowed hard and, with a grim expression on her face, began to tell me what she had done. At least for the moment, all thoughts of the shower or the bed were pushed aside. "Well, we got there, had a few drinks, and soon guys started coming up to us, flirting and asking us to dance. We responded a little, but nothing serious, just teasing them as usual. And I danced with a few of them. I danced with one guy a little longer than the others, but only because he was a good dancer." I knew that last remark was only half true. He was a good dancer, sure, but that wasn't the only reason, or even the main reason, she spent most of the evening hugging him. From the start, they looked more like a couple in love than two people who had just met, and his hands wandered all over her body as they danced. "Well, that's it, Jerry. I did dance with him a lot, but he left around midnight, and the girls and I left even later." "Really?" "Yes, that was true, but that wasn't the whole story." "So you didn't go out with that guy, Jenny?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Go out? Why would I go out with him?" She was stalling, but I still loved her, despite everything, and decided to give her one more chance to come clean and tell me everything. "The black BMW by the waterfront, Jenny? What about it?" Her face crumpled and all the color drained from it. Jenny whispered, "Oh, shit." "Well?" I encouraged her. For some reason, her embarrassment gave me pleasure. "Oh, God, Jerry, it's nothing. I didn't do anything, I swear. At least I didn't... we didn't... Well, you know." After that, Jenny burst into tears and covered her face with her hands. "How long have you been seeing this Norman Jones?" I asked her. "Oh, God, you even know his name," she muttered, hiding her face in her hands. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Jerry. I'm such an idiot." I nodded in agreement, but she was so upset that she didn't notice. Thanks to my job, I could find out everything I wanted to know about him. If I wanted to, I could even find out the length of his legs. After waiting a few more minutes while she wallowed in her misery, I decided to continue. There was still a lot to decide. I took her bra out of my jacket pocket, threw it at her, and asked if she had lost it somewhere. She didn't answer. Then I took her panties out of another pocket, crumpled them up, and threw them at her too. Now she couldn't miss them, and she moaned pitifully, shaking her head from side to side. It took her 3 attempts to string words together. She was in such a state. But finally, through her tears, she begged me to tell her what I had seen. "Everything," I told her angrily. "Oh, Jerry, forgive me. I wish I had never met him." "But I didn't let him sleep with me, Jerry. I swear I didn't let him." I let her cry, ignoring her barely intelligible declarations of love for me, her assertions that it didn't mean anything, and that she didn't let him go all the way. "I know, Jenny," I confirmed at the end. "I saw you together, and if you had let him sleep with you, we wouldn't be sitting here discussing this right now." This made her cry again, and she desperately swore to me that she would never cheat on me again. She begged me to forgive her and give her another chance. Stupid cow. In the end, I decided to give her another chance. I was sure he wasn't the first guy to touch her breasts, but it was at parties when I was around. We were all drunk, and, to be honest, I was acting pretty much the same way. Touching her, well, sure, it was a little different, but I was sure it was her first time and that after such a trauma, she would think long and hard before even looking at another man. But even so, I decided to put her through one more test, and it still wasn't over for her. I wanted to understand how much she really valued our marriage and make sure that this Norman didn't mean that much to her. I reached into my pants pocket, took out a small key, and threw it on the table in front of her. Jenny leaned over and picked it up. "What's this?" she asked through her tears. "Don't you recognize it?" "Oh, yes," my wife agreed, looking at it closely. "It's the key to your handcuffs, isn't it?" I told her she was more or less right, but that they were old handcuffs I had bought online, handcuffs that could never be traced back to me. Jenny wiped her eyes with a handkerchief, sniffed a few times, then looked at me with a puzzled expression, waiting for an explanation. "When you left the club to get into his car, Jenny, he drove off first, and you followed him a few minutes later. Is that right?" She nodded in agreement, unable to meet my gaze, explaining that she didn't want anyone to see them leaving together or suspect what they were doing. "And when did you get out of his car?" "I went back to the club first," she explained, as if I hadn't figured that out myself. "And Norman followed me 5 minutes later." "Really?" I asked. Jenny shuddered and looked at me. She gasped and covered her mouth with her hand. "He didn't come back, Jerry." We waited for half an hour, but he never showed up. We even went out to check his car. It was there, but he was nowhere to be found. I just smiled at her. It wasn't a particularly pleasant smile, not the kind that was supposed to make her life more pleasant. Then I waited for her to figure it out. "Oh my God, Jerry," Jenny exclaimed when it dawned on her. "What have you done? For God's sake, what did you do to Norman?" "After you left, Tom and I pulled the lover out of the car and handcuffed him. He resisted a little, but he believed he was being arrested for indecent behavior or something like that. Then we took him to the beach behind the breakwater and handcuffed him to an old pier post. Only after Tom taped his mouth shut did we explain who we really were." "What does Tom have to do with this?" Jenny asked, her eyes wide. "Tom told me what was going on. He found out that his wife June had been having an affair with your friend Norman for the past 6 months. He found out about it, followed him to check, and discovered that he had started hitting on you. If I had reasons to hate your friend Norman, Tom had reasons to despise him." "Oh my God, you bastard," Jenny interjected. "That cow June introduced us, but I had no idea she was involved with him. What are you going to do, Jerry? Leave him there all night?" "It's not that simple, honey," I replied, preparing to deliver the final blow. "Where we chained him, the water will be about a foot above his head when the tide comes in." Jenny looked at me in horror, letting out a small squeal. "But you can't let him drown, Jerry. You can't. That would be murder." "As I see it, Jenny, he only has one chance." And I glanced at my watch to check the time. The water must be up to his feet by now. In 40 minutes, it will all be over, and it's a 20-minute drive to the beach. She was too shocked to say anything, too shocked to move. If he means that much to you, you'd better hurry up and save him. But if you do, it will be the end of our marriage, and I will either leave you or end up in prison. If not, lie down next to me, and I'll forgive you. We'll go on living as if nothing ever happened. Jenny, poor thing, sat there, trembling all over and staring at the key in her hand. It wasn't that she didn't deserve it. "There's only 10 minutes left, Jenny," I said to her after a while. Soon I realized how much Jenny loved me. If it hadn't been so sad, I would have laughed, looking at her sitting there with dry eyes, unable to stop shaking. She felt so guilty that she never once asked if I was telling the truth. Damn, Tom and I dragged him out of the car and beat him so badly he'll never forget it. If he ever sees one of our wives at a club again, he'll run out the back door. Not that he'll be able to go to clubs for the next couple of months, and he'll probably never be able to dance the way he used to. He squealed like a pig when we hung him upside down over the breakwater because, despite what I said earlier, there was a tide coming in. Not the most pleasant prospect when you're handcuffed with 2 broken legs. "Only 5 minutes left," I yelled to her, but she still didn't move. Then Jenny looked at me and made a brave attempt to smile. "Let's go to bed, Jerry," she muttered nervously. Right. Now the ball was in my court, and now it was my turn to make the decision. Had she suffered enough? I wasn't entirely sure.